And so I'm going to start us off by sharing a little bit about Wakana, who we are. I know oftentimes when you first hear about the Flat Belly lifestyle, perhaps you've not really learned more about Wakana and what we do. We actually started back in 2019 as a cannabis CBD company. That was our focus. That was our mission. We really recognized there was an opportunity in the CBD space to bring education, to bring awareness. But as we continued on that journey, we also noticed that so many people were facing so many health challenges. And so we've expanded our brand to be a complete wellness company. But just know when we did start, our vision was the fact that Wakana, one second here, let me get my screen back on track. Okay, the Wakana movement. So we exist to help end the negative stigma that has caused communities around the world to suffer and lose out on the health and wealth benefits of the cannabis plant. Our mission is we are the catalyst to stir a movement that inspires people to confidently move into the legal space as entrepreneurs, formulators, and investors, evoking the courage and strength of people to take back their health, wealth, legacy, and freedom. In fact, would you like to be a part of the multi-billion-dollar CBD industry? I know you're a guest on the line tonight, many of you, and perhaps you've not heard a lot about, really the excitement that's happening in the world of cannabis. We actually focus on the non-psychotropic part of the cannabis plant and that CBD, but these are the co-founders. I'm the CEO and visionary of Wakana, but we have some amazing, amazing co-founders. In fact, Rita J. McGuire, she is a OB-GYN, has delivered babies over the last 30 years here in the Chicagoland area. In fact, even internationally, over 8,000 babies. We also have Dr. Patricia Van Pelt. She's our president. She's also a state senator here in Illinois. And then of course we have our phenomenal CSO. She's our midwife. She's our first diamond, our first double diamond, and helping all of us to give birth to unlimited possibilities. Since we started, we have cumulative sales that actually exceed now over $7 million. In fact, this is our brilliant medical advisory team led by Dr. Rita J. McGuire, MD. And it's just always just such an honor when I look at these doctors from so many different walks of life, from chiropractors to dentists, even nurses are on board. But it's so exciting to know that these individuals have actually decided to partner with us and serve as our medical advisory team. And so we participate in several billion-dollar industries, in fact, even a trillion-dollar industry known as wellness. But if you look at the CBD sector, that alone, currently it exceeds over 7 billion over the next few years. They're predicting that it's going to hit 30 billion. So we know we're at the right place at the right time. Weight loss. Wow. When you look at weight loss alone, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue. And then of course, wellness, 3.4 trillion, essential oils, 20 billion, skincare over 190 billion, hair care over 87 billion. I mean, how many of you would like to get a piece of some of those industries? And so that actually represents the different industries that we do participate here at Wakana for Life. And so now we're going to go ahead and segue right into our Flat Belly lifestyle. I've had a chance to tell you just a little bit about myself, but I'll give you a little more for those of you who might be joining us for the first time. My background is corporate America. I was always looked at as that corporate America success story, had the company car, had the corner office, and really had a job that allowed me to travel internationally, being raised, by a single mom, growing up in the projects, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, for me to, accomplish that, I really thought, hey, I had made it. But the true success of life is really when you actually have, the greatest, relationships with your family and with your kids. And for me, growing up in the projects, I worked so hard to ensure my son, would have a different life, thought by working so hard, I was giving him a better life, but more than, the money we bring our kids, they want our time. And one day my son called me up, and it's a conversation I'll never forget. He says, "Mom, you want to know something? I'll never be 5 years old again, and I have no memories of you at the age of 5. That moment, my heart broke, because here I am thinking, I'm doing things, the right way, giving him the best neighborhood, allowing him to, have and experience some of the things that I didn't experience, because of my upbringing. And so I just at that moment knew that I had to go in a different direction. And I'm just so thankful that I was always surrounded by really good people. And so one of my mentors, shared with me, the power of this industry. And I'm just so blessed that it allowed me, the home-based business industry, to retire when I was 33 years old. So yes, I fired my boss at 33. And, there was some exciting things like, it afforded me to travel the world. It afforded me, to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income. But the most important thing that this industry did for me, it really helped me repair my relationship with my son. And I was able to homeschool him his last few years when he was in high school. And we, repaired our relationship by spending that quality time, traveling, having a chance to experience, so many experiences that would have never been possible without this industry. So if you are here, for the first time, I know you're going to learn a lot about, the health sector and the wellness side of it, but just know there's also an opportunity beyond just helping people to get on, the flat belly lifestyle. We do have an opportunity that I believe, for those of you who are ready to roll up your sleeves, could be life-changing. And so let's jump right into it. And so some questions that I want to ask tonight, first and foremost is, do you know your blood type? Do you know your blood type? This is a question that was presented to me actually less than 8 months ago, because can you believe it? But 8 months ago, I did not know my blood type. And if you don't know your blood type, don't feel bad. Many people spend their whole life and they never know their blood type. But do you know that learning your blood type can absolutely be life-changing? And so hopefully you do know your blood type. In fact, can you put in the chat if you do know your blood type? Let us know, who's out there who knows your blood type. I mean, are you like me? I'm a type A, and you're going to learn exactly what that means. Perhaps you're a type O, which is the original blood type. That's the oldest blood type. But let us know who already knows their blood type. And if you don't, again, you're going to want to thank the person who invited you on this line, because I know tonight's information is truly going to be life-changing. The second question is, are you curious to know what's happening on the inside of your body? Oftentimes, we kind of eat in the dark and we don't know, how things are affecting us. But would you like for us to be able to provide you with some information, sort of a report card, so that you can see exactly what's happening on a cellular level? And so those are just a few of the topics that we're going to cover tonight through our Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. But I do want to also share with you, as an African American, I can let you know that we are disproportionately impacted by almost every chronic and even almost every fatal disease. When we think about preventative medicine, there have been certain technological advances that unfortunately have not been widely made available to our community. It's oftentimes they tell us, we're always the last to know about certain things. And so by starting, you want to start by learning your blood type, and then you want to find out what's going on at the cellular level. And that's what we bring to you with our Flat Belly Lifestyle. When you think about the top leading causes of death, these are the top leading causes of death in 2020. And heart disease, always year after year, it's number one on the list. More people will die of heart disease than any other disease. Isn't it time for us to actually put a stop to that, by knowing our blood type and finding out what's happening on that cellular level? And so what I want to talk to you about today is a concept, that Albert Einstein shared as it relates to energy medicine. But he said the future of medicine is energy medicine. When you think about energy medicine is really designed to heal. Energy medicine is really designed to prevent disease, in the first place. And there's so many technologies out there that exist that can allow us to have a snapshot into our health and see exactly what's going on. In fact, when you think about our bodies are made of energy. If you've ever, walked across the room and perhaps you touched something and you felt this certain, static electricity, and you're like, wow, oftentimes we don't even realize the power we have in our very own hands, okay? Our cells are energetic. Our cells are constantly renewing. Our cells are constantly repairing. And this energy can be measured. In fact, when we think about adults, do you know that 25 million cells divide every single second? And when it comes to our blood cells, do you know that every minute, 1 million of them are renewing? In fact, while we're here on this Zoom, our body is working without us even consciously thinking about it. You're not consciously thinking about that your heart needs to beat, the fact that you need to take a breath. See, all of these actions and reactions are happening because we are brilliantly designed. Unfortunately, we've just never learned more about how do we really operate our body to work at maximum capacity and to really facilitate healing. Because just like our cells are renewing, that means we have everything within us to repair, everything within us to renew, no matter where we're at on the spectrum of disease. In fact, our bioscan, it's measuring this very phenomenon, because during cell division and renewal, our body's emitting that electronic wave signal, okay? And these signals are actually going to determine whether the body is healthy or unhealthy. And in our bioscan technology, do you know that these signals are compared with the spectrum of disease, nutrition, and other indicators of irregularities? And so let's look now, at really what this means if we don't find a way to really put the stop, okay, on our own destruction. Because oftentimes we're walking and eating in the dark and not knowing what's happening. And so when you think about the healthiest human beings, okay, these are people that are at the true highest levels of energy. I mean, they have 100% energy. In fact, if any of you ever follow, the NFL or the NBA, and you look at these players and you're thinking, what are they made of? Okay, the fact that they can take all of this and they can just keep coming back for more. But see, doctors start recognizing when we are actually developing illness or disease, when our energy is down to 30%. I mean, wouldn't you want to see that at 60%, 70%, so that we can start actually reversing it much further than when it's already developed to such a low progression? In fact, the point of no return is considered to be when our body is only radiating about 4% energy, and then death means we're now at 0% energy. And so we introduce the bioscan, also known as the quantum magnetic analyzer. And again, this very machine actually captures and measures this very phenomenon so that we can really see what's happening at that cellular level. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer. Some of our products, especially the products that contain certain cannabinoids, are restricted based on your age. There are some that can be consumed by people that are over the age of 18, some over the age of 21. With the Flat Belly Lifestyle products, with our detox products, they actually do not contain any CBD, THC, or cannabinoids. And so if you're worried about drug testing and if the cleansing products contain any of this, in our phase 3, okay, our phase 3, which is our 21-day cleanse, they don't contain any CBD or any THC. I do also want to let you know that if you are under the care of a doctor, maybe you're on medication, make sure you talk directly with your doctor before you go on a program like this or any other program for that matter. And also know that the test results are for reference only, and they are not considered to be a diagnostic conclusion. And so just to give you a little bit more about the technology itself, it was actually invented in China by a team of medical and computer experts. In fact, do you know that it was developed after analyzing over 100 million clinical studies? This has actually been in use for over 40 years. It has an accuracy rate of 85 to 95%. And I know for me, when I first heard about this type of technology, the first thing you think is, why did my doctor never tell me about something like this that's really designed to help prevent disease from happening in the first place? Also, just beware that there are many products on the market. There are products that actually you need to be aware of because they could be utilizing old generation pirated software, and some of them could be bad copies. We deal directly with the original manufacturer, ensuring that you're getting the best in technology. And so what I want to cover tonight is a special subject that we go over on our Flat Belly Lifestyle Zoom. And that's the topic is called the worst disease you've never heard of. Now, many of you have been on this Zoom before, so you know what I'm going to talk about, but some of you are here for the first time. And when I say the worst disease you've never heard of, I want you to think about, what could that be? What is the worst disease you've never heard of? Anyone want to take a guess? I'll give you a couple seconds to take a guess. What could that be? In fact, if you're reading along with me, it kind of gives the answer right here. And so I'll go ahead and read it just so that you're clear. It says it often appears without symptoms and it's frequently misdiagnosed. It affects nearly a third of all adults and can quietly progress to a life-threatening state. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is on the rise. And so that's the worst disease we've never heard of. It's called fatty liver disease, specifically non-alcoholic. In fact, here's an example of how our technology can actually diagnose with the actual fatty liver disease. In fact, here's an example of the BioScan report card. And so if you look at this report card, you're going to notice that it talks about protein metabolism. You know, how is your protein metabolism, energy production? Because it's very important that not only, you know, does your liver metabolize protein, but it has to have enough energy in order for it to function at its maximum levels. But it also measures, if you notice here at the bottom, it says liver fat content. And if it's in the green, that basically means it's normal. So with our BioScan, it's going to let you know what areas are in the green, which means they're normal. It's going to let you know what areas are in the blue, which are mildly abnormal. It's going to let you know what areas are in the yellow, which are considered moderately abnormal. And then if it's in the red, that means severely abnormal. Now, this is an actual report card of a woman who's actually in her 50s and had no idea that she was dealing with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. In fact, if you look here at the scan, anything to the right, it means it's at an increase. Anything to the left, it means it's at a decrease. And so with fatty liver disease, let's look at exactly at the implications of fatty liver disease. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is a potentially fatal condition that wreaks as much damage to your liver as would a bottle of vodka every day. Now I'm going to stop for a second, because when I say this disease, you know, non-alcoholic can wreak as much damage as a bottle of vodka, people often think, okay, well, maybe it's just as good for me to have a bottle of vodka every day. No, it's not. But I want you to think about two different types of liver disease. Someone who develops liver disease because they've been drinking alcohol all their life. Typically, you hear about them developing cirrhosis, but it's typically at a later age, perhaps in their 50s and their 60s. But with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, we're often seeing this develop sometimes in their teens, in their 20s, and in their 30s. So both conditions are just as bad, but what we're saying is food, just all of a sudden, because of this processed world we're living in, it's killing our liver just as bad and faster than even alcohol. In fact, this is a disease that's considered to be on the rise. It's impacting 80 to 100 million people here in the United States. And this is according to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. In fact, it's considered the new silent killer. About 16 million people have a more aggressive form. This is called the silent killer. For some of them, it's going to actually develop into cirrhosis of the liver. And I want you to think about that for a second. So imagine someone who's never drank alcohol in their entire life, but they end up with cirrhosis of the liver, just like someone who actually had drank alcohol every day of their life. And so let's look at the stages of liver disease. Now, if you look to the far left, this is what a healthy liver looks like. And then when it starts to accumulate at least 5% fat, it's called fatty liver. And that's when the diagnosis begins. It begins when the liver has about 5% liver fat. But do you know that once you develop more than 60% liver fat, the liver can no longer function? And that's why people end up with cirrhosis. In fact, liver fibrosis is when the liver actually starts to scar. And once you get that scar tissue on the liver, it makes it hard for the liver to repair. And at cirrhosis, it means you have so much scar tissue, the liver no longer functions. And when the liver no longer functions, guess what has to happen in order for you to survive that? I mean, you actually have to undergo a liver transplant. But if 80 to 100 million people are battling and dealing with fatty liver disease, what percentage of a chance do you think you can find someone that actually has a healthy liver to give you? And so the best thing to do is to do what? To prevent this by actually learning about fatty liver disease in its early stage, because in its early stage, it's actually completely reversible. And so let's look and see why it's so critical for us to keep our livers healthy. We know that the liver is like a filter for the body. It's really working to keep, the body healthy, to get rid of toxins, but also too, the liver helps in the regulation of blood sugar. And here's how it does that. See, when there's so much liver fat, that's developed on the liver, do you know that the excess glucose stays in the blood because the liver is unable to regulate insulin? So we know that the pancreas actually releases insulin, but guess what? The liver actually helps to regulate that insulin as well. And so now you have the pancreas, not producing enough insulin. And all of a sudden, do you know that the body now has extra glucose hanging out in the blood? And when this extra glucose is hanging out in the blood, now all of a sudden, it's not going to just impact your liver, but guess what? It's going to go on and lead to things like diabetes, lead to kidney disease. In fact, it's estimated that every 30 seconds, a leg is amputated. And do you know that 85% of these amputations are the result of diabetes? I want you to think about that for a second. 85% of the amputations that are happening in this country is because people have diabetes. And when you think about diabetes, I know for me, I never thought about diabetes as something that leads to amputations or something like that. We just learned that, hey, it means you have too much sugar. And, as a child, you just didn't know these deadly implications. In fact, the high levels of sugar hanging out in the blood also can damage our kidneys, and this could lead to kidney failure. And that's why when you think about people with liver disease, all of a sudden having diabetes and then the kidney disease, all of that goes hand in hand. And let's look at a quick report card for the kidneys, because our BioScan actually measures, what's going on with your kidneys as well. In fact, in the same person where we diagnosed them with the fatty liver disease, if you look at this particular scan, it actually shows they also have trouble with extra protein. They have too much protein in the urine. And what this means is they already have a moderate amount of kidney damage. And again, a lot of people are walking around and they don't know these things are happening on the cellular level. And our BioScan, in a matter of minutes, can actually analyze all of this happening at the cellular level. And so again, when you see the yellow, it means that her protein urine right now, it's moderately abnormal. And so let's kind of look now at this quote from Dr. Eric. It says, whatever is going on in your cells, it's going to affect your organs, which causes alarms to go off when you treat signs and symptoms and you don't treat the root cause. And so we really have to understand not only what's happening at the cellular level, but we want to learn how we can actually help heal our body at the cellular level as well. And we know that a lot of this is by design. When you look at certain neighborhoods, they're loading our neighborhoods with fast food restaurants on every corner. They're bombarding our children with commercials. And these commercials in other countries are considered predatory. How is it legal for them to give our children who are 8 and 9 years old, access to commercials that have food, right, that make them think they're going to be cooler, they're going to be prettier, they're going to be smarter by having these type of foods. But if you look at the ingredients on those type of foods, these are the same ingredients that lead to diabetes. How is this allowed? And so they're not only doing that, but then they also try to convince us of what the healthy alternatives are. And a lot of these healthy alternatives are just as bad as some of the staples that have really put us in this condition. And the reality is they're creating these trillion-dollar industries off of our pain. In fact, just to give you an example of a healthy alternative, right? Processed lunch meat. We think of a ham sandwich or perhaps a turkey sandwich, as that healthy alternative. But do you know that actually the World Health Organization has deemed processed meats, our bacon, our sausage, our hot dogs, any processed meat that has nitrates. And do you know that lunch meat also has nitrates, which is very important that if you're going to have any type of processed meat, make sure that it is nitrate free. In addition, here's what the World Health Organization says. They says that red meat, including beef, pork, veal, and lamb, are probably carcinogenic to people. And so the reality is, we're eating food and we think of food as giving us nourishment for the body, but some of the food we're eating is listed as just as carcinogenic as tobacco, smoke, and asbestos. And who would think that? That's just ridiculous. Why would they put nitrates, in our food if they could be so harmful? But again, a lot of this is about them preserving their profits because nitrates are preservatives. And if they don't put those things, the meat doesn't last as long, okay? And so by taking it out, they're gonna lose some profits, but guess what? We get to keep some of our health. And so it's up to us to educate ourselves so that we know better. In fact, if we do continue down the same road, the reality is we become willing participants. And so now we're spending money on food that we know is ultimately killing us. And when we think about this word chewicide, it's a word that I came up with back in 2013, because I recognize we are digging our graves with our very fork, but no one's telling us this, right? We think every time we eat, hey, it's giving us nourishment, but guess what? Some of the food can be our greatest form of medicine, but also our slowest form of poison, leading us to an early death. And it's our children that are really paying the ultimate price, because when you think about, our kids, they're telling us that if our children are African-American or Hispanic, they have a 1 out of 2 chance of having diabetes in their lifetime. And do you know, they've also told us that we've just given birth to a generation of kids that for the first time are expected to have a shorter lifespan than their parents. And I believe that's unacceptable. But here's the reality. In order for us to resolve our problems, we're going to have to need a team. And that's why we've put together this team of experts. Eric Prince, our naturopath doctor, he says you cannot consciously resolve your health issues on the same mental level that you unconsciously use to create them. And that means we need to have a team of people that's really helping to coach us and lead us in the right direction. And so what I want to do real quick, because I do know that we actually have some exciting testimonials lined up as well. I want to go ahead and now share with you the solution. In fact, I have a phenomenal person that's going to share with you the solution, because I know you've heard, now kind of like the problem, right? What's happening. And I know some of you, right now are ready for the solution. I mean, who's ready for the solution? Okay. Who's ready to live your best life? Because here's the good news. As much as I shared, as much as it might seem like, wow, I didn't know it was that bad. The good news is our bodies are brilliantly designed. The good news is we can repair, we can heal. If you're here on this line, if you have breath in your body, we have the tools that can help you live your best life. And whether that best life means travel, whether it means more time with your family, whether it means having the chance to do the things you want to do, having more leisure activity, maybe golfing a few times a week, our team of experts can help you do just that. And so what I want to do real quick, I'm going to actually get myself out the way, because I have the phenomenal Rita J. McGuire, MD, on the line. Not only is she a mother, not only is she an OBGYN, she owns a fitness company. She is the chief medical officer of Wakana for Life. She is our pillar of health. She's been featured on ABC, on CBS, on NBC, on Fox, and even CNN. Without any further ado, Dr. Rita, if you can go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. That was amazing. Great information. I want to thank all of our guests. I know I have a lot of guests here, Melissa, from the Florida team, our fitness camp. We are excited to welcome all of our guests all across the country here. I'm excited because in November, we can add something to my slide that says GLAMA. So I'll be a GLAMA just like you very soon, Melissa. But I want to talk about the solution to a lot of the issues that Melissa talked about, the fatty liver, the chewicide, all of the dialysis centers that we're seeing, our young children that are plagued with heart disease and diabetes and hypertension, let alone our seniors and baby boomers and beyond. So we talked about blood type. Hopefully everyone knows their blood type. If you don't know your blood type, we can get that done for you. But your blood type reflects your internal chemistry. Dr. Peter Diambo has a book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And it really gives you a lot of insight along with our program on how important it is to understand your blood type is really tied to unlocking longevity, as long as you know what foods could be possibly toxic to your blood type. So we know that many of us may be A or B or AB or O. You know, as Melissa alluded to, O is the oldest blood type that migrated from Africa. And then we can see in this slide that there are certain foods that certain blood types should avoid. O being avoiding avocados, dairy, most grains, and white wine. AB, as you see in the slide, is one of the rarest blood type. It does share some traits from both A blood type and B blood type. And then we have B. Type B is really that blood type that means balance, but they should avoid avocados, black beans, chicken, and shrimp. And then type A, I'm type A. Type A is for agrarian. This society really thrives on fruits and vegetables. They should avoid animal protein and banana. So just a little testimony about me. In November, I embraced a vegan lifestyle. In December, I did the 21-day cleanse, which I'm going to talk about next. And after that cleanse, after doing a raw vegan lifestyle for 21 days, I felt amazing. I had more energy, and I have a lot of energy already, but I had more energy. I was sleeping better. But what I really noticed was the ability for me to really address stress. Being a frontline worker in this global pandemic has, I tell everyone, we were not trained to practice medicine in a global pandemic. I was really allowed during that 21-day cleanse, that raw cleanse, I was detoxing to really deal with stress and anxiety as well. And a great side benefit, not a side effect, but a side benefit was I was able to shed 10 pounds of waste. So it was just a great opportunity for me, as it will be for you. So let's talk about some other things that we want you to have done before you start our program, and that's our bioscan. Our bioscan is a very quick 5 to 15-minute scan. Many of my camp members down in Florida have all gone through this bioscan. It's non-invasive. There are no needles, no knives. It's simple. But what it's going to do is really going to help you to understand what's going on inside internally. You know, as physicians, an allopathic Western medicine practicing physician, we weren't taught about bioscans or prevention. We are only taught, right, to give you a prescription and give you another prescription on top of another prescription. But this bioscan allows for us to see what's going on so that we can change things. We can change things before they become an emergency and before they become an urgency. So the bioscan is a great opportunity for you to see that. Our comprehensive 99-page bioscan report is $29.95, but this bioscan, the full report, will come complimentary when you join our 21-day raw cleanse program. So let's talk about our phase 3. Our phase 3 is our 21-day raw cleanse. So hopefully by that time, you know your blood type and you've had your bioscan. And what we do is we incorporate three products, as Melissa mentioned, that don't contain CBD or THC, but these are organic herbs that our naturopath, Dr. Eric Prince, has formulated that help to do some major things as you're juicing, as you're detoxing on this raw diet. One product is the Eliminator. See, the Eliminator removes mucus and parasites. Mucus and parasites, of course, build up in our body if we're eating a lot of animal protein or any animal protein. And if we're eating cooked foods, mucus and parasites have to come out. These are toxic to our body. The ingredients in the Eliminator is 100% food grade organic herbs like diatom and bromelain that are good for your digestive system. And then our product 2, our purifier or our liquid colonic. This is a great product that helps to cleanse the colon, to keep that colon cleansed as we're going through this 21-day raw cleanse. Ingredients, again, are all organic herbs that really help to cleanse that colon in a very safe and effective way. It's not an explosive diarrhea or anything like that, but it's a nice, gentle cleanse that has ingredients like nettle leaf and chickweed herbs and fennel seed powder, senna leaf. All of these are great for our colon. And then product 3 is the Regenerator. See, the Regenerator is your superfood. Your superfood actually helps to nourish your cells as you're going through this 21-day cleanse. Ashwagandha root, beetroot, these are amazing organic herbs that are replacing those very important vitamins and minerals. Now, on this 21-day cleanse, raw cleanse, you are drinking between 16 and 24 ounces, if you're a female or male, of juices. Dr. Prince has already given us all of the recipes that you'll be following, along with 2 snacks. Those snacks include raw nuts. They include fibrous fruits. All of these ingredients in the herbs, along with the juices, are able for you to detox, to remove waste, to feel amazing, and really help to get you back to be the best version of yourselves. Now, we have 2 other phases. Maybe phase 3 is a little too much for you. That is okay, because we have 2 other phases that really allow you to maybe do some baby steps before you become 100% raw on 21-day cleanse. Phase 1 is a opportunity where we include these 3 products: our bitter tea, our flat belly brew, and our flat belly gummy, along with a plant-focused diet. It's a diet in phase 1 where you're able to choose from your chicken, your meat. We want you to choose wisely: organic chicken, grass-fed beef if you're eating beef. We include these 3 products because these 3 products will help to detox the colon, to cleanse the liver, as well as to reduce your cravings for sugar, because sugar and those refined carbs really is what is helping to increase those obesity numbers and insulin insensitivity, resistance, as well as blood pressure and diabetes in our communities. So the Flat Belly Brew and the Flat Belly Gummies are products that help reduce your cravings for sugar. They help reduce your cravings for carbs. And the bitter tea is going to help, again, cleanse and detox the liver and the colon. Phase 2. Phase 2, we have a new updated phase 2 where we do a 7-day raw cleanse. And then we finish up the next 4 to 5 weeks with these 3 amazing products: our bitter tea, our flat belly brew, and our flat belly gummies. Again, phase 2 with the 7-day raw cleanse is a third of the time of the 21-day cleanse. So phase 2 is absolutely a great option for those out there who are not quite ready for that phase 3 program. So that's all from me. I'm going to give it back over to Melissa. This program has been a blessing, not only to myself, but to my family, my friends, and also clients in Florida. We're getting amazing results. And again, because of the 21-day cleanse, I must say, this is the reason that I'm a Glamma, because, I was able to start my soon-to-be daughter-in-law and my son on the 21-day cleanse, and they were able to conceive. So super excited to join you in that status as well, Melissa. And thank you all for joining tonight. I'm going to give it back over to you.
Wow, Dr. Rita, thank you so much. And it's so awesome and excited for you being a Glamma. And I'm telling you what, this 21-day cleanse, we're on to something, girl. We can go across the country. For those who are trying to get pregnant, hey, let's do the 21-day cleanse. I love it. That is awesome. That is so exciting, guys. And so now it's time for a few phenomenal testimonials. I was in Maryland not too long ago and had just an awesome and amazing time with this phenomenal group in Maryland. And I see our phenomenal Sapphire on the line. She is a raw warrior. She is someone who absolutely is taking this industry by storm. She actually owns her own company, Binky's Bakes. Very successful company. I mean, we were there doing scans and customers were just coming in and out. So she's already established, a lot of success for herself, but to see her partner with us now, really leveraging what we're doing with the BioScan, with the CBD. Beatrice Foster, if you want to just share with everyone what's going on with you. You are just looking so amazing, my dear. So tell them your story. What's going on?
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I enjoyed you all's visit. I was so happy to see you all. I love the Wakana products. I love the flat belly. To me, that was just like I had to be a part of it. I just had to be a part of it, especially with the business that I already have. I had the space. I could bring people in just on a whim. So I really appreciate, Melissa, the vision that you had with this, and you brought it to us. And then for those of us that took the opportunity to listen and then take your vision and run with it, we're not going to fail. There's no failure here. There's just success, helping others see what their level of health is. It really touches my heart. It really does. It brought tears to my eyes to see you and Phyllis and how you are so energetic about getting the knowledge out there to the people. And I wanted to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. I want to take Maryland for a storm. And I had 2 scans yesterday in the shop. I was working in the shop yesterday. I had 2 more scans yesterday. So I am here. I did the 21-day challenge. I did my scan. When Dr. Prince showed me on my scan about my pH levels were off, my liver was fatty, I had protein in my urine and high blood pressure. He showed me a lot of things that I didn't realize were there. The high blood pressure, I knew was there. I knew I was on the verge of high cholesterol. But when he showed me all those other things, I was unaware, truly unaware of those things. I took the 21-day challenge. I have not had a high blood pressure pill since December of last year. I am not on statin, and I am not on any type of sugar medications because my sugar numbers have gone from 6.9 down to 5.8. So, and I'm still monitoring. So now I used to wake up to my numbers being 145 to 150. And you're talking waking up, taking your sugar. I haven't eaten anything. It was at 145 to 150. Now wake up, it's like 109 to 100. 99 to 109. So I am truly amazed. I am happy to be here. Thank you, Melissa, for allowing me to share that story. And I will have more stories from my customers, from myself, and my family. I'm still working on a family. Still working on a family. I'm claiming it, but I'm still working on it.
Family is always the hardest, but guess what? You love them, and we just keep loving them anyway. And eventually, we
back to you, Melissa.
Okay, thank you so much, Beatrice. That was amazing. I want you guys to give it up for Beatrice. And while you guys are hitting her up in the
Hello.
comments, I think you guys can hear me right. I think she might be losing the signal. Hello? Hello? Testing?
No, we just have a thunderstorm, so it may be on my end. We got a thunderstorm coming in.
Oh, okay, great. But awesome job, Beatrice. We love you. You're amazing, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to show your pictures real quick, guys. So she gave you her journey, and it's exciting when you actually hear from the people we're showing on the screens all the time. But this is her journey. You know, we can see the physical evidence, but for her to give those testimonials about the statins, the blood pressure, the fatty liver, and just to see her moving now in the right direction, that is amazing. And again, let's give it up for Beatrice. We have one more testimonial tonight before we close it out with our awesome Diamond Willie Mooney. But this lady also hails from Maryland. Currently, she's in Chicago. In fact, I just had a chance to spend a couple hours with her today. They came in to take a tour of our facility. And so Erica Zachary, I believe you are on the line, dear. I'm going to go ahead. There we go. If you're able to turn on your camera, great. If not, I understand. Let's see here, one moment. Erica, we can hear you now. There we go.
I'm here. Hey,
Erica, let me put you on the spotlight real quick. We're going to add you there so everyone can see you. You guys can see Erica, right?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you.
Awesome. So we're actually visiting family right now, but I'm going to give my testimony and, you know, we're going to share a little bit. So I started with Wakana in November 2019. Actually, I'm giving my testimony at the house where the people that brought us in. So we're with Larry and Gail right now. My cousins, Larry and Gail. And so they have brought us into Wakana in November 2019. I came in legitimately just because I needed the products for myself. I had been managing MS naturally since I was diagnosed in 1998 and never took any DMTs. I wasn't interested in taking medication. I was more fearful of the medication than anything. So when I came in with Larry, I was interested in taking the products for myself. So wasn't really interested in building a business. That wasn't the plan. But then I had a distributor who had a mom that had dementia. And so she needed she started using the water soluble for her mom with dementia, which controlled a lot of her symptoms. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm looking at this different, I'm looking at this too narrowly in regards to what I could be doing with this. So I'm from taking it from using the products, and also came in at the time when they had shares in the company. So I also was interested in that and building a foundation for our family and stuff like that. So, but then, like I said, I was looking at it too narrowly at the time. But being with Wakana has been a game changer for me in regards to my health in so many ways. One of those ways has been me being able to control my symptoms. Last night I was here in Illinois. I don't have all of my products with me, but I was using some of the things that I needed to be able to use. So it's just been able to have those products available to me to use them wherever I need to go, as opposed to having a medical marijuana card and you can't cross state lines, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I didn't say I'm a therapist as well. So I had a social worker. And so using medical marijuana for a while was getting a little bit of dicey because, if I get drug tested, am I going to have a job? All of those kinds of things. So just, so what kind of relieved me from all of that. And it's just helped me to improve my health. But then doing the 21-day, actually, no. In last November, Troy and I came here to get our bioscan done. And just like Beatrice was talking about, we realized that we had a fatty liver. We had some arterial blockages that we did not know about. Troy had some other things that were going on. I think we both had, the pH levels, I think we both had that issue. And so when we got back home, we're basically like, what are we gonna do? Because we can't, for me, having MS and not having a choice about that was enough. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. So I'm like, when I started hearing those things, it put a little bit of concern in my heart that I needed to do something. So we decided to do the 21-day cleanse. So we did that, did it successfully. And I did, what I didn't say is that, I have a 29-year-old, 30-year-old daughter, and I've been struggling to lose weight for her entire life. Gained 60 pounds with her. And this is the first time in my life that I've been able to get back to a place where I was before I had her. So the clothing size that I wear now, I went from a 16, 18 back a year ago And I'm now in a size 8, 6, something like that. I put on a small T-shirt when they came to Wakana for our BioScan event. Melissa gave me a T-shirt, and it was like, I can't wear a small. And so I put the T-shirt on, and oh my God, it actually fit. And so, so I used to be over 220 something pounds at my highest weight, and now I'm at 138. And so it's just been amazing, and being able to share this information with other people and share with them on things that they can do to change their health and change their, I committed to being a health coach, which is all of those things that are important to me. Health and mental health and health have been really important to me for my entire career, about 27 years. And so this just it was just a good fit. It's a good fit all the way around for me. And so I'm just really excited. The company's amazing. What other CEO are you going to call and say, hey, can I come to the dispensary today? I know we didn't have an appointment or anything, but my mom and dad were with me today, so we came to visit, and it's just an amazing journey with Wakana. And so I'm just really, really proud, and I'm proud of the company. I'm proud to be involved and to be able to share all of this information with other people. So, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Erica, that is so awesome. And we are so proud of you. I mean, for your amazing transformation, but also what you and Beatrice are doing in the Maryland area to bless so many people. You guys are such a gift. It was an honor being there with you. And I didn't say this, but Erica is also an Emerald director with our company, guys. Do you know how big that is? That means her group has done over $50,000 in revenue in 1 month. So we are super proud to be in business with you. Great job, Erica. Let's give it up for her. Ladies and gentlemen, amazing. Wow. So now it is that time. We actually have the opportunity to bring up one of our phenomenal diamond directors. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show this slide because I want to give him a proper introduction. So one moment, please, so I can pull up the right slide here. And actually, I know Eric is a part of his phenomenal team. And so here we go. And so this gentleman here, what can I say about him? I mean, he is literally helping to bless so many of you because he's working on, no matter whose team you're on, he's always there to help, to facilitate, to pour so much knowledge and wisdom into everyone. He is a father. He is a husband. He is a minister. He is an entrepreneur. He's a diamond director, and that means his business and his teams have done over $100,000 in a calendar month. He's a gold dispensary and a founding member of Wakana. So without any further ado, Willie Mooney, if you can go ahead and take it away.
Hey, Melissa, are you there? Can you hear me?
I am here, and I'll spotlight you so we can see you.
Wow. Wow, some phenomenal testimonies we heard tonight, right? Drop it in the chat if this is your first time here. If this is your first time here, man, I'm telling you, this is amazing. And I just want to acknowledge you. I want to just give you kudos for the person that invited you. So drop in the chat if this is your first time here. And please share who invited you tonight. Well, I tell you, I just heard the testimonies of Beatrice, Erica, amazing testimonies, and all the way from Maryland. Like, we are home base. The corporate headquarters is home base here in Chicago, but it just shows that this platform is not a respect of person. And I just love that. Like, across, Erica and both of, traveling distance to find out what's going on with their bodies. Well, you all, as you can see, probably had a similar, all our stories are different, but we all have, let me put it in your face. We all have those things sometimes, especially as men, that we've tried to hide. I was pregnant pretty much with 2 10-pound babies. And I'm just showing you, I'm just putting it out there. And I see you dropping it in the chat. Let me just take a sneak peek of who just dropped. Message here. First timer, Stephanie invited you. All right, Aisha. All right. Wow. Dr. Betty invited Linda. All right. Dr. Betty invited Sandra. All right. All right. Well, I pray that you all are able to glean from what we're showing you today. And this is the truth, right? A lot of times, like, this is a big shirt now, and I got a problem with my shirt. But I didn't have a problem with my shirt for the past couple years. So much where I felt embarrassed, you all. I would never take off my shirt, but this is actually me and my wife in Hawaii. Yep, we just recently went to Hawaii on my son's birthday, right, in February, and I never would take off my shirt. I was just too embarrassed. I mean, I would wear a wife beater, I would wear a big t-shirt, and I wouldn't even get in the pool. But I felt so comfortable with what I had accomplished due to my frat brother, who I never listened to, sometimes still don't listen to, but he has something amazing that Melissa Boston saw the vision, and I was able to be a recipient of that vision. And that was not just a focus on weight, but the focus on waste. Now, you've heard our disclaimer that Melissa Boston read out to you, so I'm gonna get right to it. This BioScan technology is amazing. But I tell you, some of you don't know your blood type. I didn't know my blood type. Melissa didn't know her blood type, right? And then that was exposed to us. But Eric exposed us to someone that went to a whole nother level, like to actually get a look at what's going on the inside of your body. And I see there's one more person I want to acknowledge. First timer Burn invited you. All right, Naomi. All right, I love it. So I want the new people to ask yourself, do you really know what's going on the inside of your body? You can find out, right, through a non-invasive method that you've heard, you know, Dr. Rita. And I'm a proof in the pudding, you all. I did not know, and I'm a cancer survivor. Imagine when you have a doctor to look you in the face, right, two scenarios, and one say to you, you have this, but I don't know how it got there. And you're like, what? Well, how could that happen? And nobody can give you the answer. Or you're on this scenario and say, okay, well, I still don't know how it happens, but this was my situation. But we had to do a reset right now. Otherwise, the next day, I might not have been here. And this is when I was a young man. So think about the number of years since I was 18 years old, college students, because it took a while to go into remission from chemotherapy to radiation. Think about how long it took me up until now just to know my blood type, just to find out actually, well, what now is going on the inside of my body. So this is my first scan report and my second scan report. Now, the wonderful thing is that I did better in a whole lot of different areas because I changed my life. I got rid of the waste by doing the reset, by doing phase 3. I was no longer concerned about the yo-yo diet, up and down, all the years since leukemia, root of the problem. Now, let me tell you, for the past couple years, you all, you know what I had been dealing with. I had lost weight, but I never got rid of the waste. And all the exercising that I had been doing, well, the scan report showed to the right, Mooney, Eric looked at me, he said, Frat, you ain't been working out, have you? I said, man, you didn't have to bust me out in front of everybody. But let me tell you, you heard about phase 1. Phase 1, maybe you're not ready. Maybe you've been through the years and you're like, you know what? I'm just not ready to let it go. I'm not ready to shift yet. So we do have a space for you because we want you to start wherever you're comfortable. But I want to take the personal stance and try to push you out of your comfort zone. And this is where you would look at phase 2, because maybe you may not be ready for phase 3, which is 21-day raw, but I'll say take that first step and at least start at 7. Right now, this is me saying this. I call it a reset because I've been through a reset before. You all would never believe what, and I'm saying chemotherapy could do to a person. I know some of you may have experienced, some of you may have seen it from the outside looking at somebody experiencing it. But let me tell you, chemotherapy and radiation did something that I was pretty much made clear of through Dr. Prince, but not him directly saying it, but in looking at our process. And you can't put new wine into an old wineskin. So that was something that my body needed to do when it came to chemotherapy, and that was kill everything bad. But it also killed everything good. And then I sat waiting for remission, waiting for that thing to happen that will cause me, right, to produce normal blood cells, white and red blood cells, and then have a quality of life. But you know what? I still didn't know. We have a program where you can reset. 7-day cleanse is a start of a reset. But if you know that you've been struggling for the past couple years, maybe it's been the past century, and you know there's something going on, I don't care what it is, then give yourself a chance at life with phase 3. Now, we do have additional resources and tools. And this is a wonderful website. I give a shout out to Christian and Melissa, right? Because they developed something where you can actually go to a place and receive all the help. You don't have to travel to the doctor's office. I'm not telling you to dodge them, but I'm saying that if you wanted to get started and you want to be a part of a community to get support, you can get the answers and you can get that support right at flatbellylifestyle.com. You can even get support that even if you know your blood type, even if you do know it, you may still be eating in the dark, and you can get a start by downloading a free ebook. And then you want to take it a step further. You want to see transformations. You want people cheering you on just to get you motivated. Join our Facebook group. Take out your phones and then set your phone, put it on camera. Don't hit a button, just put it right over this barcode. I'll leave it for 3, 2, 1. Let me do another countdown. 5, 4, take a snapshot. 3, I'm not counting right. 2, and 1. All right. So you can go to that flatbellylifestyle.com page and you can actually join one of the communities. It doesn't matter if you decide to choose, if you start with phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, even the coaches that I'm going to talk about. We have a community to support you where we can you could even see recipes. Y'all, I'm cooking right now. I'm not really cooking. I'm dehydrating some kale. I need to show you. Let me just throw this out here. You all, Wakana and Melissa Boston, are geniuses. Where do you get a free recipe book? That's coming soon. Now that's the free one. But where do you get a visionary to say, I'm going to take 12 to 15 people, put them together, and then you all come up with some recipes? Where do you get that? You get it all with Melissa Boston, Wakana, and a Flat Belly Lifestyle. So hold on to your horses. It's coming. But the bigger picture, right, is that maybe you haven't been in a position to help your family. I love the fact that Larry shared with Erica, right, and shared with also Dr. Conti. There were a lot of people who got help through Larry's exposure. And wait a minute, that was first through Margaret Dorsey's exposure. And then that was through my exposure. And wait, that was through Eric Strick. See, people help people. It takes people to help people. Reach one, teach one. So these are my fraternity brothers, as well as one of my fraternity brothers' older sister. And we're giving a shout out to Dr. Prince because he's our fraternity brother. But let me tell you, it doesn't stop there. I never stop sharing. I'm telling you, this thing is so contagious, from cousins to people who I've just met. I'm telling you, there's no respect of person when it comes to sharing and helping the people that you love when you weren't able to do anything before then. You see, I've been in that situation where people have looked at me at bedside and it wasn't anything they can do. I had to depend on God or depend on my doctors, my hematology oncology doctor. And maybe you want to shoot your shot at handling something and taking a chance on yourself versus waiting a while, right? But let me tell you, I'm proud of myself because of last month, April 6th, now Minister Ernestine would blast me because she's like, Eric said you need to work out. Well, I still hadn't worked out. I just wanted to see what this opportunity can do for my body physically, visually, and on the inside, just to show that, wow, this is amazing. I'm almost at a 6-pack and I ain't do not a crunch. Well, that is exactly what's happening. And let me tell you, I'm a foodie. I am a foodie, and I know Phyllis Nash. I call her my mama in Wakanda. She's a foodie too, and we don't miss out on meals being vegans. Let me tell you, Dr. Rita don't miss out on a meal being vegan. I'm telling you, from everything, I'm making cauliflower buffalo wings now. My wife loves it. Pizza from Mott's Pizza, just all, with a gluten-free crust, raw noodles up in the upper right-hand corner. That is such a demand that I've even started making noodles for my family, friends, And just some people who said, I want that dish on my 21-day cleanse. From soups, you're looking at the bottom, avocado soup, mustard. Yes, I am teasing you. I'm teasing you to a new lifestyle, and you can't say it don't look good. I don't care what it is. Now, let me tease you a little bit more. See, I don't think in our community we talk about money enough. Now, I'm not preaching to you, but this is what I'm just so, it bothers me. It bothers me that we don't work and we don't understand how things work. Well, then we can able to be fruitful in that thing. And some people say that the root of all evil is money. No, not having money and not having things to barter is just putting you at a compromising position. And that's a misinterpretation of scripture. And I think a company that develops platforms where the average person can be involved, even on the level of holistically and being able to, I praise God for my frat brother. Even though I never listened to him, I'm like, bro, you're pretty smart to have a conversation with my CEO and make it happen for millions of people to come. How can you be a coach? One, you do have to go through the 21-day cleanse. Now, we do have a coach's package, and it comes with the equipment. This is just amazing. I never thought that I would be sitting at the dinner table and scanning my son, or like my young nephew, my young cousin who's here, right? Just for, I actually scanned my I didn't scan him, but I put him on a cleanse for 7 days because he walked in here and he was coughing and hocking. And I'm like, what? And then it, was said that it might be allergies. No, that type of mucus. I had pollen. I was allergic to pollen before. Pollen don't do that. So I said, you know what? Leave him with me for a week because I knew that I can do something about it. That's an excellent position to be in. How many of your family members, how many of the younger generation, well, they're not having fun. So I said to the young man, this is 7 years old. Are you having fun? And he was like, nope. Walking around with a whole roll of tissue, even during a pandemic, y'all know tissue is short. Boy, you better put down that tissue. Come on over. Let me cleanse you, but let me get back to it. So there's a training, as you see. I've learned a lot, and I couldn't have done it without Melissa and Eric. Bioscan training. You take an exam. We're studying for that now. I think I'm going to do pretty well. Everybody pray for me. But the package is a healthy package. Let me show you this, right? If you haven't been a partner in Wakana, it does cost $2,500, but it comes with everything. And our people perish because of lack of knowledge, but you can't be, how can I say? Don't be resentful for being educated and being blessing not only the people, but being blessing to yourself. And this is taking a chance on you. Maybe it's your passion to help a lot of people. Where was mine? And then the company will take care of the rest because they make sure that the person who's doing the work, we're everywhere. We're at beauty shops, barber shops, churches, making sure that we're making an impact. I call that ministry. I call that discipleship, and actually being a place to be rewarded for it. You see, I know my God, and he does supply to us fruits for our labor. If you sow, you shall reap. And this is what you're looking at here. So don't get twisted and just think, well, this is a multi-level. Let me tell you, Melissa Boston showed you on the screen all of these industries that literally as consumers we participated in. So why not help someone that let me tell you, someone, or maybe it's you. And let's even push aside the business. Who do you know that don't know their blood type? Who do you know? Who do you know that you don't want them to wait until that 30%, that 70% depletion to then find out is something going on? You don't want that. Trust me. You don't want it to get to a 4%, and this is me saying it, a 4% hospice situation, and then you asking what happened. I'm putting it on you thick because this is what needs to be said. So you have an opportunity to do something get by the person who invited you or someone close to them. You ask them and say, I want to get that body scan, right? I need to find out what's going on. And step 3 is to do something about it. You can choose one. You can choose phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now, we're going to help you and we're going to motivate you, because over the next 18 months, you're going to be seeing so many people profess what their blood type is. We're going for 1 million. You should be a part of that. Now, this is the part that I really like. I'm praying that he is on here. Let me stop my screen, because I know some of you may have some questions. I've said a lot. I talk a lot. Let me just say that. Let me cover this up. And I talk a lot, but maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe I didn't compel you enough. Well, I know who can. My frat brother, and y'all, we talk a lot of stuff. It's just what men do. Now, y'all know it's 98%. It's 98% women in this company. So it's an honor, you all, to actually see, right, my fraternity brother. And let's get this clear. I didn't bring him to Wakana to be no vegan. I love meat. And I'm a blood type B positive. You know, this dude is, and I'm calling him we chewing the fat right now, but this dude is responsible for me not having chicken no more, lobster, crab legs. Every time I think about this, I want to blast him, but he helped me. So I'm going to give him some space, and I want you all to drop in the chat, right, some questions that you may have for him. And I say, get him, y'all. Get him, get him, get him. Maybe you'll trip him up and you'll ask him something that he won't have an answer to. Now, I doubt it because I tried, but maybe you can. Dr. Eric, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So let's see what they have for you today, my brother. How you feeling today?
Oh, man, I feel great. I feel healthy. That's the best feeling in the world.
Man, it really is. I'm talking about you kind of young, like you back in college, man.
Hey, Beatrice, I do want to say, congratulations to Erica and Beatrice for their testimonies. I'm grateful to you guys for being positive testimonies of this process, because more people need positive testimonies. It's not, we learn so much and we've been taught so much, and a lot of stuff is wrong. If we don't see the evidence, if we don't see the results, then it's hard to believe it. And so you're showing them something that people need to see. We need to see results. We need to see the evidence, and that's going to make people come off the fence and say, hey, let me do something now for my health. And so I'm grateful to you guys, and also Dr. Rita. She was a testimony. I think that every medical doctor out there should follow her example. That would change the world instantly.
Love it. I love it. Y'all heard it.
Absolutely, that would, Dr. Prince. And truly, truly, the medical profession is not gaining any headway with the way we're doing things now. Even my medical students, they always say to me, Dr. Prince, you're the only doctor that talks to your patient about their diet.
Right.
Doctors are not talking to their patients about really what can change their health, and that's the food that they're eating or not eating.
Exactly.
You are absolutely right. Last time I went to see, which wasn't long ago, my primary care physician, she did give me the report that I was borderline diabetic or approaching borderline diabetes. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? What am I doing wrong? And she told me to eat licorice. Now, didn't break it down. I'm like, you talking about Twizzlers? So with that being said, Dr. Prince, and you know what, no negative connotations. I know, let me put this out in decency and order. I know that some medical practitioners or professionals have not been taught. So I do always offer the not knowing, like scripture is confirming, like our people perish because of lack of knowledge. And it's not because some things have been, it's just not in the protocol, in education. So we have to be mindful of that as well, you all. So don't go blasting your doctors, right? And saying naturopath all the way. No, don't do that. We do need them. So first question,
No, we just need to invite them on these calls
I
so
agree.
that we can get the education to them, right? So
Yeah.
don't blast your doctor.
Don't blast your doctor. I know it's some out there that down with doctors. No, we're not doing that. That's not the movement or the mission that we have. All right.
Exactly.
So why can't kids under 13 have a bioscan? Why?
Well, actually, it's not kids under 13. The scan scans all the way up to 10 years of age. So under 10,
Okay.
they're not doing these scans. And then from 10 to about 13, there's actually different parameters on the scan. Believe it or not, on the scan, it shows a category called attention deficit disorder. So we can actually scan to see where kids at as it pertains to attention deficit, hyper attention deficit disorder. So like a tongue twister. And then also what's important for kids is also their vitamin and mineral profile and their vitamin and mineral levels. Because the kids, you got to understand, when kids first come out of the womb, you know, they have everything that they need. Unfortunately, a lot of times, you know, the healthcare industry starts to inject a lot of the, you know, vaccines in them, which are kind of a required schedule. And I get it, you know, it's required. But what I'm seeing is that a lot of that, you know, those vaccines are bombarding the child's immune system, and it's causing autoimmune conditions. You know, I'm dealing with a 2-year-old right now, a 2-year-old that has type 1 diabetes. And the only question I asked them was, okay, how many vaccines have they had since they were born? And they told me the schedule of vaccines. And there was no other reason why that child should be dealing with, of course, type 1 diabetes. So I just told them, hey, you need to stop that right now. Start cleaning the baby out. Wait till the baby, at least wait till the baby's immune system is strong. And then if you have to get the vaccinations for school, then just do it. But give them a chance to build up their immune system. God gave our mothers breasts and breast milk to feed us the necessary components that will build our immune system. So we don't need to be looking at heart disease and fatty liver in children. We need to be looking at their vitamin and mineral profile and seeing what's going on in their mind so that we can make sure we detour from that.
Excellent answer. So let me go a step further, because you mentioned the age of 10, but with all the problems and diabetes and obesity is becoming larger and prominent in kids. Why wouldn't we scan them at an earlier age? Or what's the bottom age that you would scan a child, or a child should?
The bottom age is 10 the technology only scans at 10. So it's not really my parameter. If I can scan them younger, I would, but the technology cuts them off at 10 years of age. But the youngest person I've detoxed is 5 years of age. And I had to detox that kid because that kid was having consistent fevers, which means their body was fighting something. And once again, even in that state, I knew that it had to be the vaccination schedule that kid was going through. And once I cleansed and detoxed that 5-year-old, fevers went away. You know, their bodies is going to be fighting things. So it seemed like kids are sickly, but they're not sickly. It's just that their bodies don't tolerate a lot of the poisons that some of us can tolerate. So their bodies is reacting rapidly to these conditions, these medicines, these vaccines, probably more so than anyone else. So that's what's going to probably cause the fever, cause the issue, cause the autoimmune condition. So all you need to do is just clean and flush their system, and their body will stop trying to fight off these germs.
Love it. And let me throw this in here because I do see a question. But I did mention my cousin. He's not 7. It's actually my wife's younger cousin. He's not 7, he's 9. But let me tell you the testimony. Today is day 7. No hocking, no coughing, no mucus, no tissue. And I took a before picture because I wanted him to see, because I wanted to show him himself, his before and after. His skin, he's more vibrant. He's not pale. I know his mom, who's out of town, is going to be amazed by the results in just 7 days. I kept him on a very straightforward regimen, just raw, all raw. You know, now he went to school, and he was going to school, but he stayed obedient. I sent him to school with a lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Following up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, following our regimen. So the question is, after completing the 21-day cleanse, does the eliminator continue, the actual person continue to release mucus, for example, from the nose?
Exactly. Well, the cleanse is 3 weeks or 7 days, but the detoxification process is ongoing. It took me about 6 years to get meat out of my system. So I was detoxing for 6 years until I had my healing crisis. Now, a healing crisis is different from a Herxheimer detox reaction. A healing crisis is system-wide. That means that your body has reached a point and a level of vitality where it's able to lift up all of the toxins, all of the stored toxins, in order to eliminate it out the body. Now, if your channels are not open at that time, it's going to break out your skin. It may swell up your lymph nodes. It may clog up your gastrointestinal tract. So your body is constantly detoxifying, because once you decide to change your diet and your lifestyle, what you're made of starts to change. You're replacing what you're made of, because remember, you are what you eat. So when Dr. Rita went back to being a vegan, now all of the animal substance in her liver, in her cells, in her DNA, all of it has to start moving out, because you're giving it a new destination. You're rebuilding your body, but you're rebuilding it with different material. So the old material has to come out and the new material comes in.
That's that. And you tapping right into, you can't put new wine into an old wineskin until you get that old material. So Dr. Prince has shared with us that, how do you know? This is another question. Some of you and some of us, because I was one of them, taking supplements, running to GNC, Walgreens, grabbing all these different things. But how do we know, or eating fruit or vegetables and thinking that we're really there, but how do you know if your body is absorbing it? That's a rhetorical question. Chances are what he showed me was that my body was not absorbing it, which is why there's a vibrance right now with how we looking at now age reversal, because of that vibrance, because of that. Now the nutrition is actually getting in our system, and we're getting rid of the plaque, the mucus, the cleaning out those arteries. No more fatty liver, getting rid of that. This is what's happening with phase 3. And one thing that I've adopted, and I used to be a real resistant when Eric would share certain things in a certain disposition, because I'm like, ooh, that's gonna step on some toes, or ooh, that's hitting them too hard. But then I thought about chemotherapy and cancer. I thought about what my doctor said to me. That first day when she said it, I went in complete shock. And let me share that, because I've been sharing it lately. My doctor said to me when I was 18 years old, and I remember it's like it was yesterday. My doctor asked, and I'll give the rest of the story later, but I want to get to it. My dad asked, does my son, do we have time? He said, do we have time to put aside a sperm bank? Because I was about to take chemotherapy. And the doctor said, no, if he doesn't start today, he can die tomorrow. Now, there's a story leading up to that. But when she said that, and the way that she said it, I went into shock. But my parents and everyone at the sound of their ear knew that there was no time to wait. So I understand now why Dr. Prince speaks from a certain disposition, like, no, we can't sugarcoat it for you. This is something that if you want to do it for yourself, the time is now. So it leads me into the next question. And I just needed to share that. Okay, so we got that. So Dr. Prince, they're asking, how often should you get a scan or do a cleanse?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that question, because you don't want to scan all the time. You got to give your body a chance to reboot and reorganize itself. And sometimes that takes as long as an A1C. An A1C is done every 3 months. So the scan is about every 3 months. So every quarter you can do a scan, and you'll see the results. You'll see more comprehensive results. You can do a 3-week cleanse as frequently as every 3 months. So you can do a quarterly cleanse. Now, this is what I did with my son's mom. We're not together, unfortunately, anymore, but I had to help her because she had a cardiac arrest on the table when she was giving birth to her first son. So she wasn't willing to have a second son because it scared her so much over Rush Hospital. But when I met her and I took her through quarterly cleanses, tongue twister, quarterly cleanses. And she dropped from a size 12 down to a size 6. And her uterus healed. It healed back to the point as if she was in her 20s. And she had our son as if she was in her 20s, but she was in her 40s. And that's what made it so powerful, because if it wasn't for those quarterly cleanses, it would not have healed her uterus. And chances are, if she had gotten pregnant again, she might have had the same issue and maybe even worse.
Wow. Man, that's powerful. That's very powerful. Now, mentioned, you're coming right in. This question leads right into what you just talked about regarding how often. And let me phrase it like this. I love the results of the tea. I love the results of what's happening with the Mucus Buster. But after the 21-day cleanse, how often can I use those two products, the Mucus Buster and the Detox Tea? If I just man, this is working so well. Is it?
Well, I would say, you don't want to do the tea anymore after that, because when you're doing the detox tea, you're flushing out everything in your gastrointestinal tract, even the good bacteria. Okay. So after the cleanse, you want to start doing probiotics and digestive enzymes on a regular basis. Gotcha. This is something that we should have been practicing long before now, but we're not. That's why our gut environment is not conducive for good health. So once you clean out the whole gut, get away from the detox tea, but you can do the superfood all the time. You can do the Mucus Buster often too. There's no limit on doing the Mucus Buster and the tea, because that's something that's not harming your body, and it's all natural. So now you can do that as often as you want.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so there it is. That's a good one to write down. The detox tea of the eliminator gets rid of this is me saying this, and this is probably why I call it the reset. Like he just said, it kills everything. It gets rid of everything, good bacteria as well, right? Mm-hmm. But you want to, after that, replace your body with
probiotics.
Probiotics. The replacement is very I've done, let me say loosely, fast or cleanses before, and I didn't replace my body with the proper probiotics and with the proper bacteria, and broke out in the hive. That wasn't
right.
Yeah. So
and
next,
go ahead. Next question.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that the reason being is because that's the reason why 70% of your immune system is in your gut. It's because of those probiotics. So if you don't replace them after the cleanse, then you're not fully rebooting your immune system.
I love it. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right, next question. We're on the road. What is the average weight will a person lose after the 21-day cleanse if done the proper way? On an average, what have you seen?
After the cleanse or during the cleanse? So
let's break it down like this, because this is what we're seeing. Let's say in the average, just based off of your experience, first 10 days, right? First 7 days, right? And then the total 21 days. So in 7 days, on an average, what have you seen at the person at the 7 day as far as waist and weight? We'll use those a little simultaneously right now. We know people look at the scale. That'll kind of put them in the direction that, okay, I'm in the right, because people need to identify, like if you're cheating, we know you cheat.
Right.
Is there a number? I mean, and it's really something that's popping up now, and I'm glad the coach asked this question.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, during the cleanse, you're looking at an average of a pound a day. So a person can lose anywhere from 21 to 24 pounds a day during the cleanse. Believe it or not, a client that just came off the cleanse, I just posted it on Facebook. She lost 43 pounds in 3 weeks. Now, that's because she was further away from her body mass index.
I got
the further you're away from your body mass index, the more you're going to lose. And even after cleanse, you're going to keep on losing it, because guess what you just did during the cleanse? You unclogged the sewer system. So you don't stop losing, you keep on moving down. So, but yeah, you may gain a few pounds back here and there, but not to the point of how you did it before. Because remember, sometimes that first cleanse is dealing with a clogged plumbing that's been clogged for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then once you unclog the plumbing, you unclog the sewer system, then now your body is now functioning efficiently as it's supposed to be. Now it's going to be up to you to exercise, in order to maintain that. You don't have to do anything rigorous. You ain't got to do boot camps and all that, but you just have to get out at least 2 to 3 times a day, whether it's a nice brisk walk or a bike or elliptical, but you got to exercise. It's mandatory. Exercise is mandatory. Believe it or not, comfort, relaxation is bad for your health because it shuts down everything.
See, y'all see this is where y'all see what he just said. See, this is why we get into it. But he's 100% right. But he know I work from home. No, I'm just comforted. All right, you all. So let's see, man. These questions are coming in.
Mooney, go exercise.
Okay. Can we listen to this session again? Will it be on YouTube? There's a great possibility, you all, that this will be on YouTube. I have to, let's keep going. Shout out to Dr. Rita, you all, who's been phenomenal. Follow her. She's exposing a lot. There's a lot we can learn. She's always teaching and educating. Okay, if I right now choose to do phase 1 or 2, can I do the 21-day? And I'm assuming that she's saying later. The answer is yes. Should someone get a colonic? Ooh, this is a good one. Ooh, thank you for asking this question. Should someone get a colonic after doing the cleanse? How should they get a colonic?
Good. No, that is a good question. I have had people to get colonics after the cleanse, but it was reported by the hydrocolon specialist that they didn't see much because the detox tea had cleaned everything out. So now the colonic was for a different purpose. The colonic was to stimulate the peristylis muscle contraction that had been slowed down over time. That was the only reason for the colonic, not to get waste out, because that comes out during the cleanse.
Them little things that do the inside your colon that we never really think about,
that
right?
Muscle contraction, right? That's what it does. It re-stimulates that because the water pressure causes those muscles to contract. And so that's what we need to re-stimulate.
Got it. All right. Oh, that was an excellent question. All right. And they still coming. Man, y'all coming. Okay, so I might have to cut these off soon, but not now because they pretty good. What age? What about a child? Okay, let's throw this out here. What about a child 9 years old who has autism? Would this work for them? Now, you all remember the disclaimer, but I'm sure Dr. Prince is going to answer this the best way.
Right. Well, if they've been experiencing autism up until 9, there is some damage there. But I have heard of different changes that people have made with their children that has caused some type of reversal of autism. A lot of it had to do with gluten. So, this mother took her child off the gluten and it started to reverse the symptoms of autism. Unfortunately, you can go do the research yourself, but a lot of the vaccinations have led to a lot of onsets of autism in children. So once again, when you talk about children, there's not really much that's going to affect them when they're younger. But if you're putting these things inside of them, and I know that some of you had to do this with your children, get them in school, but when they're babies, you just got to let God do what he does, which is give you the mother's milk. That nourishment that comes from the mother's milk is enough. It's more than enough to build up that baby's immune system and also the brain. That mother's milk is very important in brain development. That's why even bodybuilders today, believe it or not, on the internet are actually subscribing and getting mother's milk. Women are selling their breast milk online to bodybuilders because of the steroid component in the mother's milk. Wow. Imagine that.
That's something. Wow. I hear that. Wow. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. We still have some amazing questions here too. Do we still take prescribed medication that the doctor gives us while on the cleanse? Ooh, that's a real good one.
Well, good question. And you know, you've heard from people like Beatrice who told you, you know, she's not dealing with that medication anymore. The whole purpose of the cleanse is to get away from pharmaceutical drugs and medication. So you want to at some point have to let it go. Now, do we tell you to do that? No, we don't tell you to do that. This is something you have to decide. You have to tell your doctor, let them know, hey, I'm about to cleanse. On this cleanse, there's a chance that I may have to lower or come off my medication altogether. Now, there's going to be a point in the cleanse where if your blood pressure is normally high and you're taking medication for it, within 7 days, your blood pressure is going to normalize. It may take a little bit longer, but that 7-day was usually what I see. If you're taking your medication, blood pressure medication after 7 days, and it's already 120 when you wake up, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to drop it down to 109/75. And then all of a sudden 98/76. At that point, you got to use common sense. Do you just keep on taking it, or do you just, you know, take a few days and wean off of it and watch it?
That's right. That's right. That's good. That's good. And I love the fact that you are, let me use the word, encouraging people to use their power and their words to talk to their doctor about what they're going to make the decision to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because that's consult your doctor. But have a disposition, like you hear what we're saying, but have that disposition and get what you need as far as the education so you can have the conversation with your doctor. Right? And they're put there to give you also their opinion, their whatever they say. But this is why we should always seek counsel. Exactly. Right? This is what scripture says as well, and godly counsel at that. So making sure that we have the ears to hear for those who are willing to hear and be able to articulate to those who we need to talk to. Does not go, okay, after doing 21-day cleanse, my elimination is not back to normal. What do I need to incorporate? Not back to normal. Okay, so I'm assuming that she's saying that I could kind of see this. So I'm assuming that you're saying that before you were having what you thought was normal as far as a bowel movement. And you're trying to get back there because maybe you're eating different and seeing less. Is that correct for the person that asked that question? And I'll let Eric, because I'm sure he has experience with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need a little bit more detail. Sometimes, like during the cleanse.
Okay.
Yeah. During the cleanse, of course, you're eliminating because, of course, you're drinking the tea. That's the blockage. But at the same time, once you come off the cleanse, you're not taking the tea anymore. And now your body is slowing down on the digestion. Now, that may be a good time to get a colonic, you know, in order to stimulate that peristaltic action. Because remember, that muscle contraction has been delayed or slowed down for quite some time. You know, I guess I give the example, if you take a 5-pound dumbbell, Mooney, and if you're lifting it, it's not a problem, right? But what if I have you to lift it for 3 days straight? At some point, that bicep gets tired.
Gotcha.
And so if we've been eating this animal substance for so long, our muscles in our gastrointestinal tract, they're tired. Okay. And yeah, the cleanse may clean out the blockage, but somehow you have to re-stimulate that muscle contraction in order to continue to speed up that digestion. Okay. So that may be the time to get the colonic. You know?
But let me flip it. What if I just don't eat the same and I'm cleansed, but my elimination can it be different because I don't eat the same? Can it be less?
Well, if I guess the question would also be, are you leaving the animal-based protein world to go to plant-based protein?
If I'm doing plant-based now, and majority of my intake is plant-based, majority of my intake is fruit, right?
It should be a regular bowel movement if you're also exercising regularly throughout the week,
There it
because
is.
that also moves your lymphatic fluid, and it also moves your bowels.
I love it. There we go. I love it. Okay. So I'm on a cleanse and I'm having breakouts and itchy patches. Is that parasite die off? I love the way she put that. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's normal. That is
It
normal.
is. It is. It could also mean that you are detoxing and cleansing. You're still detoxing, but you're not assisting in the aftermath. The aftermath means, okay, I'm going out, I'm exercising, I'm sweating, so I'm getting rid of toxins through my skin. I'm moving around, I'm bouncing, I'm running, I'm walking, so I'm moving that lymphatic fluid through my system. And then also I'm opening up my gastrointestinal tract when I exercise as well. So you need to open up all 5 channels of your, because if you don't have all your 5 channels open, then guess what your body's going to do? It's going to tax your skin and it's going to tax your menstrual cycle. Now, if you don't have a menstrual cycle, then you're like men now. Now you have to rely upon just those 5 channels. But see, they say women live a little bit longer because of the 6th channel, which is that menstrual cycle. So what we've seen is that when all the other channels are open and flowing well, the menstrual cycle gets lighter and it's less painful and it's less aggravating. But if those other channels aren't open, then the skin is gonna have problems. The gastrointestinal tract is gonna get clogged up, and the menstrual is gonna be heavy and it's gonna be painful.
Wow. Okay, last question. And I wanna, let me say, this person says, would I get satisfaction if I chose the 7-day? I wanna weigh in on that word satisfaction. 2 things I wanna, so satisfaction is a broad word, but what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Have you had the scan to see what's actually going on the inside of your body? Because you can be satisfied if you're moving in a direction and seeing the elimination and seeing some things that is like moving you from the red to the green, right? Now that's satisfying. Number 2 is
go ahead.
Just be looking for weight loss.
Right.
And I'll let Eric chime in on that. So I wanted to throw that out there. So you have the scan. There we go. That's what I wanted you to say. So you have
the scan, got the scan, right. Because
would I get satisfaction if I choose 7?
So the scan doesn't just show us what's going on in our body. It also reprograms us, because until you see the scan, you're on a program that's running your body down the disease progression road until you get to the crisis. We're all born and we're moving down that same road. So what is the scan doing? It's coming in and it's hacking that subconscious program. So that's why the scan is so powerful and important, because it's hacking a program that's running below our conscious radar, below our conscious awareness. And once a person does a scan and they see that they're on a disease progression, and the reason it hacks is because if you're feeling good, you think that everything is okay until you see that scan. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that I was moving towards heart disease. I didn't know I was moving towards a stroke, because a person is well until they're not well, right? When that stroke comes, they didn't know it was coming. They might have a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack, which is a short stroke. But a lot of times that heart attack comes, a lot of people may not realize that they're right there at the cusp. So the scan shows you that. Now, a 7-day has 2 purposes. One is for people who are not ready for that 3-week. So they say, let me do the 7-day, gain some confidence, and then I move to the 3-week. Or it's for people who have done the 3 weeks, and in between their 3-week cleanses throughout the year, they just do a 7-day to just restore balance. Like right now, Sharon and I, we just finished a 1-week cleanse, because we just did one in March, but we wanted to do another one just so we can maintain balance. And that's okay. So it's about maintenance for the 7-day, but it's also about building up to that 3-day. Ultimately, if you've never done a cleanse before, you need to get to that 3-week process. That's the key. And that's it. Will you freeze on me, Willie? Willie, you okay? You look like you froze, man. Okay, can you guys hear me? Because I think Willie got a ixnade on.
And we can hear you. I think it's Willie. His internet might have dropped. So yeah, amazing job.
I was looking at Willie. He was just froze, like looking at me. I'm like, "You okay? Did I just shock you, startle you or something?" But yeah, that's what you got. So the 7 day is just a confidence builder, but it does give you some evidence as to what you're going to experience in the 3 weeks. But everyone needs to be adding the 3-week process to their life annually, biannually, triannually, or quarterly. It depends on what your goals are. Like Willie was saying, whatever your goal is, and a lot of times that scan gives you your goals. If you're looking at heart disease developing, then yeah, you do want to do the 3 weeks. But if your heart looks good, if your liver looks good, your kidney look good, and you say, well, I'm feeling great, so let me go on and do this 3 weeks. And then I'll go ahead and at some point move to let me do the 7 day, then I'll go ahead and move to the 3 weeks. But if you've been eating meat as long as we've been eating meat, the 7 day ain't gonna do nothing but, open up the door for a minute. And then after that, for the next 2 weeks, you're still detoxing, remember, because you just started the process. Now you're having even more complications. That's why you need more time to allow for the waste to lift up and come out your system. It takes about 21 days to develop a new habit. Somebody get Willie a mic. You back, Willie?
Yeah, I'm back. Wow,
right.
I knew it was getting good. And this next question, I can't see it, but I did read it. And I know it was good. I know what you shared was amazing because, I was blinked out and I wasn't going to come back in. But this is the most powerful statement that was made. I don't have it in front of me, but it was by Paula G. She's one of our coaches. So Paula G, I would encourage you to, and Eric, write down Paula G. And Paula G, I would encourage you to reach out to Eric. Mm-hmm. Now, she says that she's on, we don't make any claims, but she says she's on chemotherapy. And her doctor, she says she's been able to do some things, come off certain meds, but her doctor is still encouraging her to continue to take chemotherapy. So Paula G makes she made the disposition in the statement, I'm going to give it 2 months. So what I'm highlighting, and I want to really, Paula G is one of our warriors. She has done the 21-day cleanse, and she's still going while she just mentioned and shared that she's taking chemotherapy. Very powerful. I want everybody here, I'm a cancer survivor. I've been through chemotherapy. But I want you to grab a hold to that right now, that Paula G spirit, right? That says, and Paula G said, and when I read, she says, I'm making and I'm claiming the position that this is what I want to do and where I'm going with it. Nobody's convincing her, twisting her arm. She hadn't reached out to Dr. Prince and told him anything. I'm telling her to do that now because I know that God always sends help. Remember, I said godly counsel, seek godly counsel, seek another opinion, not making her saying, no, don't stop, whatever. Her between her God, Dr. Eric, and her medical or her chemo, that doctor, right? I believe that what is the desires of her heart and God's purpose and the path that he will want her to take will be done. So let's take on that Paula G spirit. Let me see if some more questions. Eric, you got anything you want to say on that? You probably could still see the comment.
So is she saying she's still doing chemo and radiation? Chemo?
Yes, she did say that. Yeah.
So there are I got two positions on that, and I stake pretty much my reputation on this. Chemo is never the right way to treat cancer, only because it does get the cancer cells, but it also gets the good cells as well. Mm-hmm. It also weakens the immune system. And from my experience, the only cure to cancer is your immune system. Your immune system has been keeping cancer cells at bay all your life. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but you're going to hear this for the first time. Cancer was not your enemy. Cancer was not your enemy. Cancer represents the ability of a cell to adapt to a toxic environment. Cancer represents the ability of your cells to adapt to a toxic environment. It's the septic condition that suffocates the healthy cells. The healthy cells have the quality and characteristics to mutate. Why are they mutating? Because cancer cells are anaerobic. They don't need oxygen. Healthy cells do. You get it? Healthy cells need oxygen. Cancer cells don't. So when you suffocate the tissue and the cells in an organ, unless those cells can mutate, they will die, and you will not have the time that you have in order to clean up the septic condition. If you clean up the septic condition, the cells will do two things. The cancer cells will either commit apoptosis, which is cellular suicide, or they will revert back to healthy cells.
Wow.
So that's why it's important, because in 2016, Willie, Frat, they met over at the McCormick Place to talk about a new approach to treating cancer. And guess what their new slogan was? Their new slogan, and I saw it, it was this big old giant billboard, University of Chicago. I was driving down Garfield, and the billboard said, "Let us supercharge the immune system to attack cancer cells."
Wow.
The healthcare industry was now saying, let's supercharge the immune system to attack cancer cells. We've been saying that for years.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, yeah, they have a drug that does that, but nonetheless, they're still focusing now on the immune system and not on the cancer anymore. So at some point, chemo and radiation will be phased out, but it's going to be silently done so that people won't begin to ask questions as to why is it phased out?
Why was it even there in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. That is deep. You know what? I'm loving this. I got, but I'm 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Okay. So the correct statement, thank you, Bernadine, is always on point. That's a leader in the company. The statement by Paula G was, I own my own, stopped my meds. Insulin, high blood pressure meds, and cholesterol med. Went to the doctor and everything is good, but my chemo doctor wants me to stay on chemo. I have multiple myeloma. I say I'll give it 2 months. She decreed it. She said it. We're going to be in agreement with it. Shout out to Paula G. Thank you, Bernadine, for putting that up there again. Thank you so much. Can you drink flat belly coffee? People love that flat belly coffee. I love it too. I love it. I haven't went back to it yet. But can we drink flat belly coffee? And that's not saying that it's not good. So let Eric weigh in on this. Can you drink flat belly coffee after the 21-day cleanse if blood type O and it says no coffee? No, I don't think so.
Well, let me say this. I always tell people it's not what you're doing all of the time. I mean, some of the time. It's what you're doing all of the time. Mm-hmm. If you're drinking coffee on an ongoing basis, then coffee anywhere is going to make your body even more acidic. So you always want to be cautious of the caffeine you put in your system, because there's a 80 to 20% ratio of alkalinity to acidity. So yeah, if that coffee falls in that 20%, then yeah, enjoy it occasionally, not all the time, you see? And even according to your blood type, if something says avoid this, then yeah, if you want to eat it occasionally, then yeah, go ahead. Because remember, your immune system, according to what I've taught, your immune system filters out 95% of those harmful lectins that are in the foods that causes the blood type, agglutination.
Okay, so, here we go.
So you see what I'm saying? So when you're younger, that's why we're able to eat so much stuff, because our immune system is protecting us. But remember, we're eating in the dark when we're young. Okay. And we're still eating in the dark as we get older. But by the time we get older, what have we done to our immune system? We have weakened it. So now a weakened immune system is trying to deal with all the food that you've been eating, but now them lectins are getting through.
Okay, so we at the barbecue. So I'm going to hit Eric with what all the bros will say when they see me and him coming to the barbecues this summer. The barbecues are coming up. And they say, Mooney, Eric, okay, you just said coffee. All right, I'm a type O coffee. I'm a type B, Eric. And I didn't went through the 21 days, scan report looking great, whatever. Say the Seder, or Ramadan or whatever come around, can I have my lamb?
Right. You
As
pass
you
over.
know,
Can I do
barbecue
my
grill.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Just like I told people, I'm not gonna subscribe to what you want to do. If you want to eat your meat, you're an adult. You go ahead and you eat it. My mom learned it the hard way. My mom had been pescatarian for a while, and she went to a barbecue, and her best friend was making some good food, and she couldn't resist it. So she ate a little bit of the chicken and everything else. And the next day she called me saying, I need to go to the hospital. I said, why? She wouldn't tell me why. And the doctor did a workup on her and found out there was nothing wrong. And finally she came out with the truth. She said, yep, it was the food I ate. I shouldn't have ate that food. So you're going to find out either through somebody else's example, or you're going to find out through your own personal experience.
Okay, can eczema, let's do rapid fire for this last minute. Can eczema be a sign of a sluggish liver?
Yes. In fact, eczema is definitely a sign of toxic blood. I had eczema for a long time. In fact, when I had my healing crisis, I broke out in eczema all over my body and hives all over my body. It was my skin. My skin was trying to eliminate the last of the toxins that was in my body. So I was back and forth to Bon Santé in Hyde Park every day, getting 8 ounces of wheatgrass. I was drinking 8 ounces religiously for about 2 weeks until my skin cleared up. And after my skin cleared up, that's when I incorporated Opulent Health and Wellness. Opulent Health and Wellness.
Well, there it is, you all. I see you, Minister Ernestine. I see you, Paula G. She says she's a survivor. Let me throw this one. Let me throw this out. I don't want to ignore it. This very last question. Can a person that is in their last stages of cancer benefit from this cleanse? And the person, let's just
in remission.
Yeah. Can the person in the last stages of his cancer benefit from this cleanse?
Well,
and the person refused chemo. So the person refused chemo in the last stages, can they benefit from the cleanse? That's okay.
Yes, her name is Linda Lawrence. Linda Lawrence publicly, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She decided not to do chemo and radiation, came to me, and we did a cleanse, and she never had to do chemo and radiation. And to this day, she's still with us, and that was years ago. So no, chemo and radiation is not necessary. It's just something that you're scared into doing. It's something that maybe brings you comfort, but I'm telling you, it's not the best way to go.
All right. Well, there it is, you all. Make sure that you stay chimed in. You've heard great information. Looks like we kept the majority, so it must have been pretty good. There's still 52 people. I remember seeing 58. So there's still some meat in what we're sharing on Sunday. So make sure you come back next Sunday, you all. Very important. But with that being said, I'm going to close out. All right, y'all know barbecue season is coming. I threw it out there for a reason. You know what's coming. Don't go running. Don't do it. And if they ask or they try to tempt you, you heard what the doctor said. Don't do it. He's not going to condone it. He's not going to sign off on it. If you know your blood type, right? You don't know what's going on the inside of your body or any of that. You don't know your blood type. You don't know what's going on. Get with the person that invited you, right? I see his boo popping up. Hey, Sharon, give a wave, right? But everybody, we love you all, and we're sharing this because we do love you. So as our CEO would say, how does she say? We're going to the top, the tip top, the very top. Have a Wakanda type of day. Love you all. Peace out.
See you, Beatrice. All right, go Mob.
Blue. All right. Y'all see, game banger. No, I'm just playing.